Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday encounter in a typical life of an Aspie. As you're fully aware, as I said before, basically, I am trying to collaborate and get together my book, basically, and some of the series or chapters that I felt that I am addressing to you won't be in the book, but hopefully some of it will still be of guidance to you and a way of support in your downtime, or just some of that advice might help you along the way. Even though, like I said, I'm learning right now that many people are different on how they go about their everyday solutions to their problems or struggles. Right, this one pretty much is under the depression series, which is going to be called Hidden Under the Mask. As I mentioned previously on one of my videos, however, that there has been so many diagnoses with AS that has been, clinically hidden under, be it like for me at the moment, I was misdiagnosed at the age of 11 or 12 having ADD or ADHD until they found out that it was something more sinister when I was 16 or 17. Yet, as I hopefully will go more in depth in my education, that when I was doing some polytech training, basically the lecturer pinpointed I must have had AS, even though she told me, basically, even though she may have a doctorate degree behind her, that she's not specialised. So I had to go through a series of tests, which, as I said, later on the piece will share more. Anyway, somehow these diagnoses can link up to one another, be it, like I said, AS is hidden under the jurisdiction of all these other conditions, be it schizophrenia for the females, be it bipolar depression or depression in general and the like. As people with AS on the spectrum grows older, however, there has been certain tendencies that their diagnosis of their behaviour or their general thinking patterns and all these other counteract with these morbid mental health issues. But be aware though, with having AS, it's not a mental disorder. It's pretty much just a diagnosis. It's not a characteristic trait of any kind. Many people mistake that, however, that it's a mental thing. Mental health issues such as depression, as I say, can be dangerous for people on the spectrum, however, with AS or autism or any other spectrum out there, pretty much, as it can usually hide between the traits of someone who is actually autistic, which then will later on, to my deepest fear, however, it can be dangerous, pretty much. Even though sometimes, however, with people with depression, as I'm sharing this topic, my greatest fear, however, with people on the spectrum, it does, however, mix in and have similar features to one another, regardless what it may be, of this pre-diagnosis that has been shown. And then in turn will create a masked effect, is what clinical experts will call it, mask effect. And with this happening, however, that then the depression, however, will masquerade or act a certain trait or feature of the AS that will then allow it to go undetected really quite easily, sort of thing. Even though I've reckoned the earlier the better, hopefully the detection and actually finding out what's going on is better. But sometimes it's not always the case, because sometimes later in years certain conditions or people with health problems, for example, basically will incur something more different and sinister. Sometimes with this morbid mental health issue, however, it does show how sensitive it is for people on the spectrum of AS and autism and the like. As we know, people on the autism doesn't get the right diagnosis, as I said, early enough in their early ages of life. Sometimes it's left undetected pretty much till later on, due to how these mental health issues are masking or hiding from these diagnoses, as it can cause confusion, misinterpretations, lack of understanding, awareness, knowledge and know-how, basically, as well as some of the misunderstandings, to the point where it can hinder or hold back the people that really wants to know about their conditions, regardless what it may be, even if, to the point of no return. It does happen. Sometimes, however, when it does hinder us, it's, to me, however, when I first found out about my condition, it would be best to know what it is there on the spot, but then again sometimes there needs to be further treatment or certain therapies that needs to correlate with the behaviour side of it. Some say it's a behavioural trait of the AS or autism and the like. Sometimes, however, if we get the right treatments and therapies, as well as managing what we can do or think what is right for us at that moment of time, being diagnosed, it will be great. But then again, we can't always be guaranteed by these clinical experts that has diagnosed us, because, as I said before, due to the lack of understanding and awareness, even though it's coming up more, basically there needs to be more research given, more treatments maybe to follow through, be it cognitive behaviour therapy, be it just therapy in general, that they'll have to, like, for some, as I say, for some people with AS, they are lacking in eye contact, lacking in maybe social skills, lacking of communication. Be it with me, however, when I first found out I was different, I was going through speech therapy classes to try and develop my speech, even though I was slow at my speech, even though, as I said, that my parents pretty much feared that being at a young age, being mute, they thought that I was going to be deaf for life, even though once I did end up going into that treatment realm of that therapy, of the speech therapy, I did start slowly but surely to read words and group them together. Until this day now, I'm starting to actually be probably, as they say, too much of a brain box, because I'm still, self-learning, self-teaching myself of everyday things. Autistic people have more childlike features, however, and metabolism levels. I'm meaning there is, like, as many people have noticed that I'm 28, and many people have complimented me that I look young, despite that. They wouldn't know that I have AS if I didn't tell them. But then again, which I'm hoping later in the take, I'm going to explain maybe when is the right time or wrong time to, say that you have AS, and hopefully give that understanding and awareness out there that it's okay to, hopefully, if you have the courage to actually say that you do. I just want to make it clear, however, for you viewers, pretty much, that autism, AS, and other conditions, as I said, that are being masked or putting on other labels, what they think is despite of the knowledge and awareness that is lacking, or the pretty much understandings of it. Sometimes, as I said, some of the mental illnesses sometimes upstage this AS or autism. Right. To me, now I'm going to talk about basically the traits and how depression plays as a part of the masking effect, to give you guys hopefully a better understanding through me through it. And I'm not sure about the other people on the spectrum will actually agree with me, even though these are only 3 points here, but it could be more based on the masking effect of depression. Number one is the absolute black and white thinking. As you were aware, when I introduced my video, I say sometimes I read between the lines, and sometimes not everything around me is in colour, it's black and white. I'm trying to fit everything together in a puzzle, even though some of the puzzles may not fit. Many people think that, I'm just trying too hard to fit in. Yes, I'll agree that sometimes, as I said in one of my other videos, it's hard to fit in. But then again, with these puzzles that doesn't fit, there's got to be a better way to understand and actually find that solution, to find that little piece that's missing in that puzzle. That's how I look at it, so to speak. Okay. For this absolute black and white thinking of number one, however, sometimes my mind seeks out different patterns of thinking to different activities, whatever I'm doing. Sometimes some activities, however, be it, like I said in my introductory, my pre-love subject is health science and mental awareness. What I've realised more, however, though, than ever before, though, that for me, in order to hold the certain behaviours of those small or big things of whatever I need to fit into that puzzle, sometimes I can think real broad and absolutely, of the broad absolutes being good or bad, right or wrong. Okay. Sometimes some patterns that I intervene can be easy to identify and place them into certain categories or groups that I have to do. As I said before, law and order. Seeing through black and white, however, is how I see some things in mine and maybe your guys' world, no matter what it may be. even if you guys see in colour and you guys work in a different forte, even though many people are different, how they work, even though, like I said, if we come to an understanding, come to the middle, and hopefully when you walk my shoes and I walk your shoes, we can, you know, sort out our not sort out our differences, but agree on our differences and just see what we can do to make each other work in a way that won't cause any conflict and whatever else. Seeing through black and white somehow is how I see some things in my own world. Okay, I've said that. To me, how I see depression, though, is not just a feeling, but our pattern and or trial of our negative thoughts. Be it sometimes, however, many people that are depressed, obviously, well, I've noticed with me, sometimes I try to block out the negative thoughts and try to filter out them and actually trying to put myself out there and be positive. Even though, yes, okay, as I said before, with depression and mask thing, and it feels like I'm wearing a half happy, half sad face of a mask sort of thing, be it on that comedy or something I'm trying to remember that you may see out there, basically, that shows that, because that's how it feels with me, that I'm hiding under a mask. As a result, however, for this happening, sometimes some people that's on the spectrum can transit instantly from one extreme to the other, being 1 minute they're normal, 1 minute they'll just quickly close off or shut down sort of thing, not wanting anything. Sometimes it can come in a flash without realizing it, however, and sometimes without realizing it, that they're not doing it. Right, number 2, repetitive obsessive thoughts. This can be really, really, really brutal. When thinking in black and white, as I said in number 1, it can be intrusive and destructive, as well as leading to the point when that repetitive behaviour pretty much can become a real obsession, be it whatever it may be. How this works for me is, as I said before, I'll be so self-absorbed into one given material, or I'm engaging in a form of activity that may be given to me, be it a task, activity, or trying my hardest to socialise, to the point that, how to word this right nicely about me, that basically sometimes, like, I get really, really tired quickly, as I said before in one of my videos about social anxiety versus how it works with me. Sometimes it really ties me to the point that I'm thinking too much, and some people think me, you know, I shouldn't be having to think too much. Yet sometimes I feel that with my obsessiveness, be it of the given task or activity, however mine, it isn't a bad thing. It's just how I interact and engage with you all, as well as basically the world around me at any given moment of time. If I choose to socialise, yeah, so be it, you know. Even though, like I said in one of my videos, sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes I socialise better in one-on-one sessions. Sometimes I can go in a day with basically trying to socialise in a larger group. But I've learned that sometimes, as I said, it just tires me out. Most days, my thoughts, again, will go on a roller coaster of emotions and will radically shift, no matter what it may be, of change, no matter what it could be as well. And well, that, again, basically, as I said, when it comes down to it, it depends on the situation I'm in. Some of the situations I'm in might be a good thing, may not be a good thing, you know, it's depending. However, also, the topic may change, yet the overall thought pattern will change also, alongside with what I've just said about basically the days, most of my days with the thought train of mine basically just cycling in my head, you know. Sometimes my mind will subconsciously go 90 miles a minute, as I said, and sometimes I'm full of ideas and whatnot, and it may come out wrong sometimes when I do it. But like I'm learning right now, as someone said to me, to try and slow down and break it down smaller to the point, which I feel I am slowly doing that, but then again, it varies, depending on the topic. Last but not least, of number 3, feelings of alienation. Feelings of alienation with depression and AS, however, can be, on the contrary, similar. I felt alone and said that other kids were laughing, having fun, and letting their hair down, smiling, and they were at ease in their own world, pretty much. I found it hard to connect with people that like that, because, as I said before, it was hard when I was growing up, trying to socialise, being different. I felt that I didn't belong, however, or had a place that I could have as a security feature. in that world of theirs. Putting these thoughts and feelings together that will then give a strong sense of alienation and isolation, however. Depression does cause similar feelings to not fitting into the real outside big world. When depression comes in, however, some people feel they have no control and feels like to let go of life. Meaning, basically, for me, I felt like, as I said, the roller coaster of emotions and thoughts wrapped into one, and felt like that I had to try and be in control of my own world. The world that I thought belonged to me, that I tried to fit in and blend in no matter what it may be. Just by how this works though is just by detaching themselves, it causes them so much pain and confusion. Subtract depression and social isolation, still feeling the feeling of confusion and being strange, many people labeling me strange or weird or whatever. Subtract AS and depression, however, that sometimes the same feelings are there also, yet the world is drifting away or just losing in the grasp of your fingers, be it, like I said, sometimes some of us people with AS and other conditions, I don't know, I felt that in my world I need to be in control of everything, you know, be it whatever it may be, you know, and now I'm learning to try and let go of some of that control factor. Put two of these factors that I've been mentioning and feelings together and you get a perfect storm for alienation and emotional detachment. With this, what can be done, however, as I said before, is the specific testing to know the presence of AS and any other form of mental health issues, be it bipolar, depression, be it schizophrenia and all these other mental health issues that I've mentioned. I believe wholeheartedly, however, that people with a mental health issue may have AS or are on the spectrum of AS, but they don't realise it. You know, as I said before, every other condition is pre-diagnosed into one. Self-awareness, however, knowledge and understanding to me is important. And it's occasionally more of this as we people on the spectrum are sensitive to imbalances and change. We need to separate which is which to what symptoms are coming from what diagnoses, however. And I feel that also the triggers, what causes those type symptoms or diagnoses, as well as the causes and more. So as I said before, the earlier the diagnosis, the better the outcome and result that we can achieve together to actually, well, not fix it, but just to resolve it. The earlier the diagnosis, the better understanding and detection with treatment we can have to make life as easier for us and people around us. Well, that's the end of my video of the hidden mask of depression. Hopefully this will be the last one, even though I keep saying this. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, you know the drill pretty much if you want to have these updates. If you feel the need to share some of these videos that I'm sharing with you on my journey with AS and all these other conditions that I'm trying to bring about, feel free to share them. Because, like I said, self-awareness and knowledge and know-how is important to me, basically, how we go about it. So, you know, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.